and welcome back to the Yorkshire Smokefree podcast with me, Claire.
And Simon.
So thank you so much for everyone that's watched the first episode of our podcast. If there's any topics that anybody would like to know more about, please feel free to comment on anything that relates to the podcast on our social media or on YouTube. But for today's episode, we're going to be talking about nicotine dependence and how to break the cycle of dependence using things like nicotine replacement therapy or medication.
That's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to today's discussion. But I've got a question first. Mm-hmm. What really happens when someone smokes a cigarette?
Fab question. So what happens is a cigarette gives a high amount of nicotine really quickly and it enters the bloodstream very quickly. And the reason for that is because it goes through the lungs and that is a really large surface area. So we're talking seconds of smoking a cigarette, you get a high amount of nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is that goes to the brain very quickly and it activates nicotine receptors in the brain. So that process then releases dopamine.
Right.
So dopamine is a reward chemical. And what that means is we get these feelings of pleasure, relaxation, focus, alertness. And then the brain really quickly makes connections between the reward chemicals, the dopamine, and the behaviour that led to it, in this case, smoking.
Right.
So it's really reinforcing where the brain thinks, oh wow, dopamine, the reward chemical, that feels good.
Yeah.
How do I get that again?
Yeah.
Smoking is the answer, so it means you're going to keep smoking cigarettes to get that dopamine release.
Right.
And it's also really clever that it learns about certain environments and certain triggers.
Yeah.
So the brain remembers, oh, you had coffee when you had a cigarette. Oh, it's after meals that you have a cigarette.
Yeah.
So that's where triggers to smoke come from.
Yeah, that's really interesting because with most of our clients that we see, we always emphasize on trying to identify what are your main triggers to want to have a cigarette. So it's really good that you have explained it to us. Yeah.
There's something called tolerance as well to nicotine. So you find that smokers often need more nicotine over time to get the same effects and avoid withdrawal.
Yeah.
So tolerance is different for everyone.
Yeah.
So I often get clients ask me, why is it that I smoke 20 cigarettes a day, but my friend is a social smoker? And it can feel really frustrating of why do I smoke so many and somebody else I know doesn't smoke as many? And it's to do with how the individual metabolizes nicotine. So if you metabolize nicotine really quickly, you're going to need more cigarettes throughout the day.
Right. So we could be smokers. Mm-hmm. Two people can be smokers, but they are different in how they metabolize the cigarette. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you metabolize nicotine really quickly, you're going to need more cigarettes throughout the day to avoid withdrawal.
Right.
So when I say withdrawal, like what does that mean? What does that look like? So there's different symptoms of withdrawal. So it can include feeling irritable, feeling anxious, feeling low in mood, poor concentration, poor sleep, increased appetite, strong cravings to smoke. So there's a lot of different symptoms of withdrawal. Mm-hmm. And these are really like unpleasant feelings to experience. So smoking and getting nicotine into your system again relieves those unpleasant feelings.
Right. Yeah.
So again, it makes sense of why people get stuck in the cycle of you have to smoke consistently throughout the day because you're trying to avoid withdrawal and those unpleasant feelings. And smoking therefore becomes something that is compulsive and habitual.
Yeah.
It's not just something you can do occasionally for fun. It's something you're going to do consistently throughout the day.
Yeah.
So something that I find really interesting is a lot of clients explain they might have feelings of really enjoying smoking. And they'll say things like, oh, it really relaxes me, or it helps me focus. And what's actually happening is, say you've got this baseline of what is normal for you.
Yeah.
When you smoke, people often think that you've got this baseline and that smoking is adding above that baseline, like it's giving you something additional, something really good.
Right.
So it's like, that's my normal.
Yeah.
And then I smoke a cigarette and I feel great. I get, relaxed, more motivated, whatever it is, it's adding something.
Yeah.
The reality of what's actually happening is you've got that baseline but you're spending a lot of time in withdrawal.
Right.
So you've got that baseline, which is normal, and then you're spending a lot of time below in withdrawal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got those feelings of irritability, anxiety, low mood, and you're having to smoke to take you out of withdrawal and back to that baseline. So yes, you are shifting in a positive direction, but it's not what people think. It's not the adding and making better. It's actually, I'm in withdrawal a lot of the time and I'm smoking just to feel normal.
Yeah. It makes sense as well. I'm quite fascinated by when you explain it and with the way that you have illustrated it, because I find that most of my clients, when I speak to them and we're just discussing their smoking habits, one of the most common things that they say is, smoking calms me down. It helps me. It helps me when I'm stressed. It helps me when I'm depressed. So when you were explaining that and just showing that where it takes you, it really makes sense as to why someone will continuously keep smoking, trying to get to that point where they feel normal, as they say, after having a cigarette.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's a really frustrating process to be stuck in. That cycle. It can feel really hopeless and helpless, and I hope people don't think that's the case, because I promise there is good news. There is a way to break that cycle. And Simon, you're going to talk about that now, aren't you? How to break the cycle.
Thank you for breaking down the nicotine addiction cycle. And what I took from this is that understanding cravings is the first step for every smoker, so that they can know how to break this cycle. So what I'm going to talk about today are the different tools that we do have to break that cycle. One of the most common one is what we call nicotine replacement therapy, which is commonly referred to as NRT. Okay. So the most common question that we asked is, what really is NRT? And normally the simple answer that I give it's exactly as it sounds. It's just a way of giving people a controlled way of providing nicotine. So the simplest way that I normally say is, what we're trying to, so the question that they normally ask is, I'm trying to stop smoking, so why are you providing me nicotine when I'm trying to stop smoking? So the simple answer that we normally give in our service is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to transfer you from the most harmful way of getting the nicotine to a more cleaner and safer way of providing this nicotine. And that's where NRT comes in. And like I said, it gives your body that slow and steady release of nicotine, but with the goal of, first of all, just to reducing the withdrawal symptoms after you stop smoking, or while you're still smoking as well. It makes the craving a bit more manageable as well, and then it helps you gradually break the nicotine or the cycle of addiction, as you were describing. So we do have quite a few of these products. As always, NRT is medication. There are some precautions that you have to take. So we normally advise, always check with the healthcare professional when you use those products. The good thing about the product as well is you can combine these products. So you can use two products at the same time. So you can use a patch and one of the faster acting products. But the most important thing that I have to mention again is, always check with the healthcare professional.
What would you say some of the common challenges are that people face with using NRT?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question again. So one of the most common, there are quite a few of these common challenges when using NRT. So one of them is underdosing yourself. So many start too low on the products. So stronger cravings may need a higher dose. So if you start a bit low, it may be a problem in your quit attempt. Okay. The other one is stopping too soon as well. So the normal course, or the recommended course of using NRT, is between 8 to 12 weeks. So some people may use NRT less than recommended time. So we normally advise just stick to the 8 to 12 weeks. Even though you might have quit maybe on the first or second week, we normally advise just try and do the full course of the 8 to 12 weeks. The most common one is smoking while it's using NRT.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most common one. So usually we discourage it unless it's part of the plan for you to stop smoking. Normally we say at least on the second week of using your NRT, try and stop smoking. Okay. So of course there are side effects. Mostly one of the common challenges is when someone faces the side effects of using this product. Normally the solution for this is either adjusting the dose of the product or switching to a different product as well. So we also do have other products as well, apart from the NRT products that we spoke about. We also have medication, which is commonly referred to as the partial agonistic medication. So we have quite a few different tablets, which I'm not going to go into detail with. But basically what they do, these tablets, is they work slightly different to the other conventional NRT products. So what the tablets do is they work by gently stimulating the nicotine receptors whilst you are, whilst blocking nicotine from the cigarette. So basically what they do is they make the cigarette taste a bit horrible, or they just take away that enjoyment of having a cigarette. So what this medication does is it reduces again the withdrawals and the cravings, and then it makes smoking a little less satisfying. Like what we're saying, it blocks out your receptors to enjoy nicotine, and it helps the brain also unlearn the addiction pattern that you were talking about. And then it's also what they say, it's a smart and scientifically proved method of trying to stop smoking.
It's really clever, isn't it? Because it doesn't contain any nicotine, and yet it works in a similar way where it's helping you feel comfortable to not smoke. We have found out that we have quite a few of our clients that have actually successfully stopped smoking using this tablets. So with us discussing all this, the addiction cycle and the NRT products as well, it's really, really important that we highlight this. Quitting smoking isn't just about the willpower. It's about having the right tools just to stop smoking, the right support as well, and the right plan for stopping smoking. So as we discussed, the NRT, which included the patches, the gum and the lozenges, and all these other products, including the medication that we discussed, all these products, they can reduce the withdrawal symptoms, they keep the cravings, as well as help people quit for good. So always just remember, this is the most important part, is just remember, using these tools isn't cheating. So like I was saying before, some of the clients always tell us, okay, why is it you're giving me products that contain nicotine whilst I'm trying to smoking? It's actually not cheating. It's smart. It's a science-backed support for breaking the nicotine addiction cycle. So we really highly recommend that you use NRT together with the behavioural support. That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much for breaking that down. That's lovely. So I think that's it for today's episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you feel like you do want to quit smoking yourself, you want to join a service, we highly recommend it, because it's not just, as Simon says, it's not just using the products, but it's getting the right support as well. So don't hesitate to give us a call if you want to join our service. But for now, we'll say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Take care.